Hi, this is Danny J. Lewis, also known as Enzyme Black, and I'm a course developer here at Point Blank Online. So in today's beat making video, we're going to be looking at the style of Moombahton. And this is something that is a little bit of a new one for me. I can't claim to be an expert on the style at all, but the guys in the office have sent me some links, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and reverse engineer the style, try and identify the elements that actually make what it is, and then I'm going to try to recreate it once again using the Ableton Launchpad here from Novation, and also I'm going to bring in some other elements in this week's video as well, just to show something a little bit different to what we've done before. So Moombahton, what is it? Here's an example one of the guys sent me that I think would be good to use as a basis for this. So the tempo, it's not as fast as house, it's basically quite relaxed. The rhythm really reminds me of reggaeton, which this is an evolution of that sound. And the only way that I could kind of describe this stuff really is like the sort of Dutch house slowed down in a way, but with an Afro kind of beat. A lot of drama, certain points, kind of pitch envelope synths, plenty of vocal hits and stuff like that. And this kind of thing where it flips, it alternates between different sections. So it's almost like 3 or 4 different main sections and then cutting between those to create a little bit of drama and then going back into the main hook. Got a little bit of a vocal on this one as well. So I'm going to be looking at bringing a vocal in, and I've got a vocal that I found from the Point Blank sort of library. This is one from the Orange Mix-Up. It's a female MC called Lady Justice, so we'll be looking at how we can integrate that into the beat. But the first thing we need to do is to try and get the right kind of sounds together and get the basic beat down. So I've got myself a drum rack that I've set up here. I've grabbed a bunch of sounds. I'll show you what I've got. The kick drum, I've selected that because it's got a nice warm tone to it and it's got some bright front to it. The snare, nice and short. Also, little rim shot, 909 snare, a clap, 808 snare, knocking sound, a tom, some other toms, little shaker, another shaker, and a little hat. So that's enough for building the actual beat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to record it into a clip. I've got it all set up ready to go. This is 2 bars in length. Let's put the click on up here, and I've got my overdub on. So let's just see what happens. You know, this foundation beat is like an Afro house kind of thing, but slower, very similar to the reggaeton beat. Just going to take my overdub off, find some other sounds to put in. Okay, so I'll do that as a little fill at the end later on. So here we go. What else we got? And maybe one of these higher ones. There we go. So I think that's working quite nicely. At the moment, the sounds need a little bit more personality. What I might do as an experiment is to, on the whole drum group here, apply saturator, which is one of my favorite effects in live. I like to add a bit of drive, to add an edge to stuff. So we're going to see how that feels. That's working nicely. Now I'm feeling about these toms, I want to take the release out a little bit because they feel a little bit short, and I know that the samples are actually quite long. You can see there's a lot of space here. Let's have a listen to that. And what about a little bit of positioning? So the shaker here, just a little bit on the left. I might actually add the spread here. move it back centrally. Also, that little 808 snare. So it's over here. Let's take a look at this one. That's already got the spread on it. I put that on earlier. So just going to make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think that's working well as a foundation. Now we need to actually bring on some other elements. So what I need to do is to get like something to work with the kick, almost as a kind of off baseline kind of vibe. So I'm going to use operator. So this is in the live suite, and this is over here. Just going to drag it into an empty space. And at the moment it's going to be a sine wave. Just going to see how this interacts with the tone in the kick and also those toms. Okay, these two notes, I think, maybe going lower octave. Now, if you've got big speakers or headphones on, you'll be able to hear that, but for the rest of you, you might be struggling to hear any notes because it's very, very low in frequency. Just going to drop in the spectrum so we can have a look. And I'll bring this up as well. Let's clear it. So you can see that it's really subby. So it's about 40 odd hertz down here. Lots of speakers won't be able to play that. So let me just turn on the next oscillator. Just bringing out this kind of growly extra texture. And I'm just going to shift the envelope so it's not playing for the sustain point. So it's more of a little pluck at the beginning. And maybe the third one. Got a nice kind of twang to it. Okay, and also a little bit of width. So I'm playing that on the keyboard currently, that's not on the camera. I'm going to record in a clip, so let's just get this same length as the other one. It's going to be really, really easy. So I'm just going to do into there. So I picked it at that note because I felt that worked really nicely with the ingredients that we've got already. So I think this is shaping up. I feel it's just a little bit too polite still. I'm wondering if maybe I could increase the saturation here a bit more. And these toms, just going to bring down a bit. And maybe bring that snare up just a little bit. Yes, I think there's a good vibe there. So what I want to do now is I want to get that vocal, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut it up and stick it on top, and then after that we'll do some kind of synth line. So here's the vocal. I just spent a bit of time working on this because it wasn't syncing with the tempo. It was something a little bit ragged, a little bit different. Also, there's a real subtle timing difference between the left and the right because of the processing that the guys applied when they actually bounced this vocal out. So the vocal is Lady Justice. It's a female rapper who's worked with Point Blank in the past. And this sits really nicely. See what you think. So what I want to do is twist things up a little bit. I'm going to make a copy of the vocal and I'm going to rename this effects vocal. And what I'm going to do on this is just bring the clip down. I'm going to copy these over So we've got a new scene with the affected vocal and the original scene without the affected vocal. And on the affected vocal, we're going to put beat repeat. So this is going to give us a stutter edit kind of a vibe. Okay, I'm going to set it to insert, so it's going to be nice and choppy. The actual gate length I'm going to reduce, and I'm going to change the actual position of where the effect comes in. I think I'm going to go for this. Let me have a listen. Let's trigger that. That's good. Going to adjust the pitch. Also going to do some variation in the actual grid size, but no triplet. So that's working nicely as a contrast, so I can bring in now the scenes on the Launchpad. So the first one, normal vocal. And let it run now. So back to normal on there. So that's the scope, of course. Yeah, we can build up these scenes and then trigger those on the fly. But what I really need to do now is to try to bring in the synth elements. So I think I'm going to use the analog just to get a lead sound, douse it with some reverb, probably drop in a redux as well to give that some character. Okay, so I'm going to run with the analog, going to drop it over here, and I've actually got the ability to play it on the Launchpad. But what I want to do firstly is to take the sustain level up and also reduce the release. Just going to have a listen, I'm going to play this. Yeah, okay, so look, I'm just working out some way of doing this. It's really hard on the Launchpad because of the way the notes are organized. It's easier on the keyboard. So I've got an octave here. And what I'm going to do is to really just spice this up a bit. I want to take the amount of voices to mono. The other thing that I want to do is to turn on glide and increase this. Yeah, something like that's going to work nicely. That's going to give me a little bit of variety, I think. I'm going to play that and just have a jam with it. Okay, I think that's it. So what I'm going to do is just do this. I'm going to have it as a 2-bar one. Yeah, let's just record that in. Here we go. Yeah, that's working. So what I'm going to do, just going to turn these off for a moment. I'll listen to see how that sounds on its own. Just adjust the glide. Going to try redux. A bit too much. Okay, I don't think the redux is actually helping, even though I thought it might do originally. Let me have a listen to that without. yeah, I think that's the vibe for sure. It probably needs a little bit more work and development, but I think that's enough for the video because we've got a 15-minute time limit. So hopefully that's given you an insight into the creation of Moombahton.